الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له واشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له واشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فقال سبحانه وتعالى بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. My respected brothers and sisters in Islam, today in the khutbah I wanted to address something as usual that I see facing our community within and from outside. Yani the khutb should be a tadhkira, a reminder, a benefit, not just something to pass the time. Many khatibs, what they do is they just get a printout or they get an old book and they just sit here and just read off, and they are bored and everybody else is bored, and they are asleep and everybody else is asleep. But we don't want the khutbah to be like this. We want the khutbah to be something that makes you think, something that reminds you, something that puts you back on track. One of the diseases we see in this ummah today, amongst many, is everybody thinks they know everything, especially when it comes to the religion. Tayyib? Yani, you go to somebody and you explain to them that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran has revealed this ayah, they tell you why. You tell them because it's the will of Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed it, He revealed it. He brought this hukm. Why? Allah brought it. Allah is the master, we are the abd, we are the ibad of Allah, we are the slaves. We don't have the right to question why. And then what do? Instead of learning, instead of going to Ahlul Ilm, to the people of Quran and Hadith, to the people of Tafsir, the people of Hikmah, the people of Hilm and Ilm, instead of going to those people of knowledge and learning, they say, well, in my aql, in my own deduction, this makes sense, and this doesn't. And they make that the criterion for right and wrong. If it makes sense to me, it's good. If it doesn't make sense to me, doesn't make sense. Rejecting it. And this is in fact foolishness. This isn't intelligence, it's foolishness. And when you tell somebody the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, the way of the people of the Sunnah, the way of the Muslim is ittiba', is obedience, is Islam, yani aslama, I submit myself, tasliman, yani I have surrendered myself to my Rabb, my Allah. They tell us, oh, you don't use your aql, you don't use your intelligence, you guys are fools. Ajizun, no, whatever. So I wanted to speak about this today. First and foremost, to clarify, we do not, as Muslims, we do not have the idea of blind faith. As Christians, we have debates with Christians. Many times you can watch the videos on YouTube. We show them from the Bible contradictions. We show them from the Bible things that are clearly against scientific facts. The Bible puts the age of the earth around 10,000 years. We have carbon dated rocks, we have carbon dated fossils older than that. We can prove older than that. Right? We show them historic documentation. We show them, and what do they tell us? We have blind faith. What does it mean, blind faith? We know it doesn't make sense, but we believe in it. But that's not the Islamic mindset. No. Islam values the aql. Islam values the intelligence. In fact, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّ شَرَّ الدَّوَائِبِ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ مَنْ هُمْ الصُّمُّ الْبُكْمُ الَّذِينَ لَا يَعْقِلُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says the worst of the creatures in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are the deaf, the dumb, yani the mute, those who don't think. Imam At-Tabari, he writes in the tafsir of the ayah, from many of the aqwal of the Salaf, here a sum and bukm is not the one who really can't hear or speak. Because that could be a natural defect. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not hold a person accountable for that. But what does it mean? It means those that don't listen even though they can. I'll give you an example. We had some people come and debate with us here, the Shia. We explained the da'al to them, as many of you were here. But they didn't want to listen. They ran. We sit in front of many Christians. We explain the Bible, we explain the Quran, but they run. Many brothers, you see them here, you tell them, Akhi, you're doing this wrong, this is the dalil. They don't want to listen. No. They run. Even though they have ears, they don't hear. They're deaf to the ayat of Allah, to the ayat of Quran, to the ahadith al-nabawiyya al-sahiha. And mute in what? They don't speak about good. They don't speak about what's right. When you sit with them, it's useless talk. When it comes to speaking the truth, speaking the haqq, speaking what's right, they become mute. They see haram, they see shirk, they see kufr, they're mute. Many of the jama'at, they're like this. When they come to a masjid with their sleeping bags and all of this, they're very friendly. But when they see some bid'ah, they don't want to say anything. Nope, don't say anything. Why? They're mute. Bukum. Right? Alladhi la ya'qilun. And they are the ones that don't think. They don't have aql. So now you understand, or we're starting to understand, what is the meaning of aql in reality. There is the linguistic meaning, just having the ability to process thoughts, right? To know what you're doing. But there is the deeper meaning from the Quran. In fact, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَيَجْعَلَ رِجْسٌ عَلَى الَّذِينَ لَا يَعْقِلُونَ. A rijs, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala throws, or He puts upon those who don't contemplate, who don't think, who don't use their aql, He puts rijs upon them. What is rijs? Filth. What is filth? First and foremost is the najasa of shirk and kufr. Shirk and kufr are rijsun. Khamar, alcohol, gambling, all of this is called rijs in the Quran. Some of it is a spiritual. Gambling is not a physical najasa. When the kafir is najis, it's not necessarily, even though it may be, a physical najasa. There is a spiritual. So those who don't use their intellect properly, then they are the one that get the rijs of kufr, the filth of kufr upon them, of bid'ah, of shirk. So don't think that Islam tells you don't use your brain. No. But what did the Prophet ﷺ explain to us about the intelligence and the foolish person? If you want to know what is intelligence and what is foolishness, let's go back to the Quran and Sahih Ahadith. In the Hadith, and the Sahih Hadith, Rasulullah ﷺ told us, Al-Kayyis man dana nafsahu wa amila lima ba'da al-mawt. Who is the intelligence? Who is the intelligent person? Now pay attention. Who is the intelligent person? Somebody has a PhD. They're a doctor. Somebody has 2 or 3 PhDs. Somebody is a world-renowned scientist. He developed new technologies. All of that. He sits in the board of Howard or Yale to be the leader of the think tanks of the world. All of that. All of that. Does this mean they're intelligent? Let's go to the hadith. Al-Kayyis man dana nafsahu wa amila lima ba'da al-mawt. The intelligent person is the one who takes account of himself and does the actions for what is after death. From Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, if nothing else from this khutbah, just pay attention to this. For yourself, do not sit here and point fingers. Don't sit here and go, you know who needs to hear this khutbah? Yeah, you. You know who's the first one needs to hear this khutbah? Me. This is for me first and for all of you. So don't point fingers, think of yourself. Intelligence. Everybody thinks they're intelligent. If I ask any one of you, what do you think? And if you're honest, if you don't have fake modesty, everybody, I know it. Yeah, I know it. I know it. If anybody tells you you're jahil, ooh, it's a fight. Even though there is some jahl in all of us. If anybody tells you you're foolish, you're going to be punching people out. Even though we will show there is some foolishness in me first and all of you. And instead of taking account of that, we fool ourselves. So what is intelligent from this hadith? The one who takes account of themselves. How? Think about this now. I want you to use your aql properly. Tayyib? Let's say you get 10 PhDs. Let's say they give you 10 Nobel Prizes. You do all of that, but you didn't prepare for death. Are you going to live forever? Huh? It's a question.
No.
Are you?
No.
You can answer the khatib. Are you going to live forever? No. Are you going to go to that qabr or into the grave? Whether they burn your body or whatever, you're going to go back into the earth. What's your PhD going to do for you? What is your 10 Nobel Prizes and awards? And where's Stephen Hawking today? Now think about this. You spend 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and you should get education. We're not against getting educated, developing technologies, but with an intelligent mindset that you don't let it take you away from the akhirah. If you got all of that in dunya, but then in 70 years and 80 years and 100 years you died, you left all of that behind. How much of that same life did you spend for the akhirah? How long is life on average? About 70 years? Let's say you live, what's the longest on recorded history? I'm not talking about Nuh alayhi salam and those nations before us. I'm talking about our ummah, our time. About 120, 130, 140, let's say 200 years. I don't know if anybody lived 200 years, but let's say 200 years. MashaAllah, la quwwata illa billah. Long life. May Allah make it a pious life. Tayyib, 200 years. Tayyib, you know how long it's been since Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? More than 1400 years. From Isa alayhi salam, 600 years from the Sahih hadith before that, so more than 2000 years, right? How long has it been since the time of Musa alayhi salam? Since the time before him of Yusuf alayhi salam? From the time before him of Ibrahim alayhi salam? From the time before him of Nuh alayhi salam? From the time before him of Idris alayhi salam? And from the time before him Adam alayhi salam? How many thousands or hundreds? We don't know. La adri wallahu alam. But tens of thousands of years. Remember those people that lived in that time, that died? How long have they been in that qabr? Tens of thousands of years in that qabr. How many more? Allahu alam, maybe hundreds, maybe thousands of years till the day of judgment. We don't know, maybe tomorrow. So another 100, maybe 1,000 years they'll be in the qabr, maybe. And then when they come out of the qabr, the day of judgment, one segment of it, 50,000 years. Not the whole thing. Then there are some segments that are 1,000 years and so on. Then the akhirah comes, the real abode, the real life, everlasting. Either in al-Jannah or in al-Nar. Now you tell me, what was a better intelligent decision to live it up for 200 years and then be in adhab, in punishment for 100,000 years, give or take, in the qabr, and 50,000 plus years on the day of judgment, and then forever and ever and never lasting life in a nar? Is that intelligent? Huh?
No.
Where is the aql? The aql is the one who muttabi', who makes ittiba' of the Quran and Sunnah. He knows, she knows, Allah knows better than me. Who knows better, you or Allah? Did you choose when to be born, or did Allah choose it? How many of you put in an application, I want to be born? Raise your hands. On this day, on this time, with these color eyes, and this kind of health, and these kind of parents. Who put that application? None of you. Who will choose when to die? None of you. You could put a 38 to your head, pull a trigger, you'll live through it. I know people, they shot themselves, they lived through it. You could jump off a bridge, live through it. There's a guy, jumped in front of a train, got hit, lived through it. Other people, they go to sleep, they don't wake up. Who will choose your time of death? Allah. Who chooses if you're healthy or not? Allah. Who chooses when to give you cure? Allah. You can take the same medicine, same doctor, one person gets cured, the other doesn't. Who will make the decision for Jannah or Jahannam on you? Allah. So knowing all of this, how foolish do we have to be? What kinds of, excuse my language, what kind of idiots do we have to be? Knowing all of this, and we go khalif to the Quran, we go against the Sunnah, we say the religion doesn't make sense, I'm not ready for it, that's not my thing. I don't care how many PhDs you get, I don't care. If you have that mindset, you are an idiot. I'm sorry. For Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in the second part of the hadith, al-ajiz man ittaba' nafsahu hawaha wa tamanna ala Allah. Subhanallah. Who is the foolish person? The ajiz. He is the one, may Allah not make us from them, even though unfortunately probably are. He is the one who follows his nafs, his desires. He wants to do some haram, he does it. He makes excuses. Oh, I heard it was only makruh. Sheikh Fulan said it's okay. I heard a fatwa, it was okay. To me it seems okay. I'm not really worried about it. Continues to follow those desires. Follows his hawa, his lower instincts. And then has tamanna ala Allah. You find somebody fighting the Quran, fighting the Sunnah, fighting Sharia, fighting the Islam, against Muslims, harming the Muslim Ummah. And then they will say, it's okay, Allah will forgive you. Allah is Rahman ar-Rahim. Ghafoor. Allah is Rahman ar-Rahim, but Shadeed al-Iqab as well. You forgot about that part. Jannah's got to be filled, but so does Jahannam. Yani this is foolishness. And that's why we say aql increases with ilm. Aql increases with the ilm of the Quran was Sunnah, with ilm of the Akhirah, ilm from Al-Alim, from Allah who knows everything. Today if you get somebody, and I'll give you some examples that are very worldly examples, because today sometimes we're too caught up in the worldly life. You take somebody from kindergarten, you take a kid, kindergartner, doesn't know how to read, he's going A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and he goes to UCSD, and he goes to the top professor of UCSD, and he looks at the periodic table. You know a periodic table in chemistry, right? What's H2O? Water, right? Good. I don't want to be wrong. H2O is water. He sees a periodic table, it says H2O, and this kindergartner tells the professor, you're wrong. You know, in the alphabet, O doesn't come after H. And 2 is a number. You didn't even know that. This little kindergartner goes, looks at the periodic table. He tells the professor, you don't know what you're doing. Right? The professor is so much higher in intelligence and knowledge than this kindergartner that it's even hard to explain it. So he gives them examples. He tells that little kid, well, you know how you put words together to make C-A-T, cat? Then that's how we have to represent. He can't even explain the concept. The intelligent kindergartner is the one that will say, this professor knows a lot more than me, so let me learn and listen to what he's saying. He knows better. The foolish kindergartner will be like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. I've done the alphabet. I know. I got my ABCs down. This is a kindergartner professor, both makhluk, both have limited ilm. Now imagine Allah, our Khaliq, our Raziq, our one who created us, who gives us rizq, who created the samawat, who created the ard, who created the Jannah, who created the Jahannam, who's always been, whose ilm doesn't increase or decrease, he has perfect ilm. Imagine that Allah tells you khamar is haram. Who are you to question it? That Allah tells you 5 times salah, you need to do it. Who are you to deny it? that Allah tells you this Sharia is the best way to live, this is the best laws. Who are you to talk about democracy and communism? That Allah gives you a method of governance, a method of living, that Allah knows better than us. So the intelligent person is the one who follows it. Intelligent person is the one who learns that ilm from the Quran was Sunnah, that beneficial ilm al-nafi'. One of the shuyukh, he gave an example. It's not a hadith, it's an example. Long time ago, there was a alim or ilm al-kalam. I don't know if you know ilm al-kalam wal falsafa. We studied it here, what it is, not it itself. So this person who studied philosophy and falsafa, and ilm al-kalam and ta'wilat, he sat on a boat. The captain of the boat was a simple Muslim who used to study Quran and Hadith, but he was a simple Muslim, simple aqidah of the Quran was Sunnah. So this person, expert in ilm al-kalam, he asked the captain of the boat, he told him, have you studied Aristotle? The man said no. He said, do you know the laws of Greek philosophy? He said no. He said, have you studied ilm al-kalam wal falsafa? He said no. He said, you wasted your life. You didn't learn anything. He said, I learned the Quran. I sit in the halaqat of ulama of hadith. I'm not a alim, but I learned what I learned, and I believe in the Quran. I believe in the hadith as it is. Whatever in the Quran and hadith, I believe in it. He told him, no, if you haven't studied kalam, you don't know the depth of this and that and this. The boat started to sink. The boat started to sink. The driver or the captain or whatever of the boat, he said, we gotta swim. This alim of ilm al-kalam said, I don't know how to swim. He told him, you spent all these years studying kalam and philosophy, you don't know how to swim, you wasted your life. I know how to swim, I'm out. This is an example the ulama give for us to think. When you study the Quran, when you study the hadith, when you study the tafsir and the mustalah and these things, this benefits you directly. You learn the kalam of Allah, you learn the meaning of the Quran according to as the Sahaba learned it, you learn the ahkam from the Sahih Ahadith. This is beneficial knowledge. This increases the ilm, the aql. You learn falsafa and Aristotle and Homer and this and that. In the end, it benefited you nothing. You think Sahaba studied Aristotle? You think they needed that for Quran? Mantiq and this and that, useless to the Sharia itself. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He loves the people of ilm. He loves for us to learn the ilm. And He tells us, وَتِلْكَ الْأَمْثَالِ, and these are the examples, نَدْرِبُهَا لِلنَّاسِ, that we give to the meaning of the ayah for mankind. وَمَا يَعْقِلُهَا إِلَّا الْعَالِمُونَ, and nobody, aql, ya'qil, they do not understand, they don't have intellect, illa alimun. Illa al-alimun, except the people of ilm. This ayah gives us a very important thing about aql. What is the real meaning of aql? It is not somebody who just goes and does a lot of Googling and Wikipediaing and watches a lot of TED Talks and then they think they're aqil. No, when you become a alim, when you increase in ilm of the Sharia, of the Quran was Sunnah, this increases you in aql. That's why the imthal that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives for al-nas is not understood except by alimun, al-alimun, the people of ilm. So if you want to increase your aql, learn the Sharia, learn the Quran, learn its meaning, learn a hadith, learn that divine knowledge. And the sifa that should come in me and you then is إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاء. Verily, the ones that have the most khashya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most awareness, the fear, the awe, that when your heart trembles when you stand in front of your Lord, when that khashya, who has the most, these are the ulama. You think Stephen Hawking had khashya? You think he knew his Rabb? And subhanallah, what misguided ideas have we ended up with? And inshallah, I will end with two pieces of advice. As we always do in the khutub or in the durus, we don't want to just talk about an issue to talk about it. We always want to have some kind of implementation, some kind of action to follow it up. 2 pieces of advice, how to increase in your ilm and your aql. There's many, I'm just choosing 2. Awwalan, the first, have proper adab, have proper manners in how you deal with people, how you deal with ulama, how you deal with the kutub of ilm, how you deal with the Quran, how you deal with the Sharia, how you deal with the kutub of hadith. Learn how to have the proper etiquettes and adab, as the Prophet ﷺ has told us in the hadith reported by Tabrani, the Sahih Sanad. إن الله تعالى يحب المعالي الأمور ويكره سفسافها. What does that mean? معالي الأمور, as Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen explains, is the one who does something according to its proper manner, does it right, with the proper etiquettes, with the proper manners. When he speaks to alim, he doesn't go, "Hey Muhammad, how you doing?" He learns how to speak to an alim. When he speaks to somebody elder, when he speaks to somebody younger, when he speaks to a co-worker, he knows how to do it. When he sits in a halaqah of ilm, he knows how to sit. When he picks up the Quran, he knows the etiquette of the Quran. When he makes salah, he knows how to make salah properly. Doing these things with the proper adab, and in extension of that with the proper akhlaq, is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves. And what does He hate? Those that have indecent, foolish talk, useless talk. Beze khabare. And if you sit down in a place and you're supposed to talk about one thing, sometimes we have a dars and we're talking and somebody gets up, "I have a question." "What's your question?" "Where can I get a Uber around here?" "What?" "Brother, we're in a dars. You want to talk about Uber, go outside, ask somebody. This is not the place for it. Now we have dars about tafsir. One brother gets up, "I need to get married." May Allah get you married. This is dars in fiqh, we're not even kitab al-nikah. Deal with that, its time and its place. Some people, they try to use cuss words to try to act cool. You're not looking cool. There's some places you have to use harsh words, yes. Some places where you don't. To learn this. Secondly, التدبر والجلوس مع العلماء. To contemplate and sit with the ulama. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has told us, "Al-mar'u ala dini khalilih." And the person is upon the religion of his friends. The environment that you keep for yourself. It is so important that your religion is judged by it. If you hang out with kuffar and fusaq and fujjar, even if you're not doing it, sooner or later it will affect you. It will. Take an ice cube, put it on top of your oven. No matter how cold it was originally, sooner or later it will melt. Take a hot coal, burning coal, put it in your freezer. Sooner or later the fire will be gone, it will become cold. A couple of days later you open it, it will be ice. This is the environment. Always sit with the Quran, sit with the ahadith, sit in alaqat of ilm and tadabbur and think. Use your aql, aqilan, for good. Always keep pious friends. Stay away from ilm that is not nafi', the ilm that is not beneficial. Study that which benefits you. Read that which benefits you. People sit and spend years reading stupid fairy tale, Harry Potter and rings and stones and dragons and this. What benefit did it do you in the end? You spend years reading love novels and this. What benefit did it do for you in the end? Imagine in that time if you had learned some ilm, some Quran, some ahadith, some fiqh of salah. In that time if you had learned science and technology, at least you could get a job. So use your time wisely and be with those that benefit. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله إن الله غفور رحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين أما بعد. اللهم اغفر لنا اللهم اغفر لنا اللهم اغفر لنا وارحمنا إنك أنت الغفور الرحيم. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا اغفر لنا سيئاتنا أنت الغفور الرحيم. ظلمنا أنفسنا ظلم كثيرا ولا يغفر الذنوب إلا أنت، فاغفر لنا وارحمنا إنك أنت الغفور الرحيم. اللهم اغفر موتانا واشفى مرضانا، اللهم اغفر لنا ولوالدينا. اللهم نعوذ بك من النار، اللهم نعوذ بك من النار، اللهم نعوذ بك من النار وما قرب إليها من قول أو عمل. اللهم نسألك الجنة، اللهم نسألك الجنة، اللهم نسألك الجنة وما قرب إليها من قول أو عمل. اللهم نسألك الجنة لنا ولوالدينا ولمن له حقا علينا، فاغفر لنا وارحمنا إنك أنت الغفور الرحيم. وأخي أقيم الصلاة.